Hi, I'm Charlotte Rees from Learn Pet Photography. I'm just working on a client order this afternoon and I'm trying to put this album cover together, but I need to actually extend the canvas to the top and bottom to allow some bleed for when they print the album cover. Now, the image itself doesn't extend that far. I could extend it, but I would then not have much room to overlay the text on the front of the album. So what I need to do is add some extra space at the top and the bottom here. So this is the image, which is actually a merge of 3 different images to get good expressions and sharpness on all the subjects. So I've already done all that already. Now I just need to create some extra space at the top and the bottom. So one option here is doing a content aware crop. So let's have a look at that first. So in Photoshop here, I'm just going to select the crop tool. I'm going to make sure content aware is ticked. I'm going to make sure it's just on any old ratio so I can extend the top and the bottom out and it's not trying to expand the whole image. So I think I probably need, just to be safe, probably about that much space, I would say. So I'm just going to hit enter, see what ends up happening here. Now, Photoshop has done a reasonable job at the top here. That's not too bad. We can kind of work with that. There's a few repeating patterns and things like that, but nothing that we can't use clone stamp tool to deal with. The bottom, however, it's got a very limited pool of image to kind of draw from to create this extra image at the bottom. So the whole extension down here is pretty much just bits of repeated image over and over, and it's not really a good look. It probably will end up being trimmed off the album cover, but just in case it's not, might be a good idea to see if I can use a different technique to maybe extend the image there. So I'm going to just go back in history there, and this is one of the reasons why when I do a photo shoot, I don't delete all of the images when I've made my final selections. And even after I finish my editing, I still don't delete my rejected images. I wait until the order is completely finalized, the products have been delivered, leave it for a month or so, and then I'll go and delete all the rejected images. Because sometimes you might just need little sections from other images. So this is actually the original shot that I use, and I used bits of other image to replace this dog here, and also I think I used a different shot for the owner and the dog there. So you can see those changes I've already made to create that image. What I'm looking for though, when I'm looking through the rest of these, is some more space at the bottom. So this is uncropped, this image here. So this is the full crop here. I don't have any more image that I can play with there. But if we look at the other images that I rejected because of expression or focus, you'll actually see that I've got some images that do have a bit more space along the bottom there, and that's what we need here. So I think the image that's going to be most suitable to use will probably be this one here. So I'm just going to untag that, and generally if I'm using images to enhance or add sections to other images, I will tag them with yellow. That's so I know that I need to keep that image because it's been used as a source image for something else. So I need to get the edit looking basically exactly the same as the one that I eventually ended up choosing. So I'm just going to copy and paste the Lightroom settings onto this image, just so that it looks the same. So just a quick visual check there. Yep, that all looks good. And so now I'm just going to open it for editing in Photoshop. So just Command E. I don't need to save a copy of the edited file. I'm just going to use the file and discard it. So I don't need to create export a proper PSD or anything like that. So this is our source image here for the bottom part. I'm just going to grab the Move tool and click on this image, drag it up to the tab of the other image and then down onto this image here. So that then creates an additional layer on the image that we're going to extend. That's basically the entire contents of this image here. So we can close that one there. We don't need it anymore. And now we've got 2 versions of this image basically here. Got the one with lots of background at the bottom, foreground at the bottom, and we've got the one that needs more foreground. So I can just now select both of those layers. So just shift click to select multiple layers. And then I just need to go up to Edit, Auto Align Layers. I'll just leave it on auto, click OK. and it's auto aligned these layers for us. Now, if I turn that top layer off and on again, you'll see that there's now more foreground in the image. There's now a whole new strip along the bottom that we can use. So I'm going to add a mask to this top layer because we don't need to use the rest of it. We only need to use the bottom part. I'm going to make it a black mask. So Command I to flip that to a black mask. I'm going to grab a big brush, B on the keyboard. And it's going to be a white brush. So I need to make sure white is my foreground color. And I'm just going to brush this along the bottom here to reveal that layer that's sitting on top. Reveal all that nice, lovely background that we're not going to have to rely on Content Aware to recreate. There we go. Basically as easy as that. Now we have an extra bit of bottom to play with. And that all lines up quite nicely. So I'm going to flatten that. I've got a keyboard shortcut set up, so I just have to press Shift Command F. It's a custom keyboard shortcut. And then I am just going to go in and recrop this. Now I don't want to lose this image down the side, so I've got a tiny little square here to reconstruct on that side, but that's okay. Press return, and then I'm just going to go down here and choose the polygonal lasso tool to just make a straight edge selection here of the little bit in the corner that's missing. And then I'm going to just do delete Content Aware fill, and that should fill that in nicely. So now, look at that image that I have in the bottom there. So I would also like to create some extra image in the top. I'm not actually sure if I've got anything suitable. So I basically need, this is the original one, so I need more image at the top. Do any of these shots have some more? Oh, I think that one's got a bit more at the top. Oh, that one definitely does. Oh, I think this one here is a good candidate. So I'm going to paste, already had the settings copied from before. I'm going to paste the settings onto this image here. I'm going to open that in Photoshop, grab the Move tool, drag this layer over into this file here. So now we've got these two layers again. I'm going to select them both, go Edit, Auto Align Layers, Auto OK. And now I've got a little bit of extra image at the top there. That'll be nice and helpful, I think. So I'll add a mask to that top layer again. Invert the mask. Oh, it's black. Grab a white brush and then brush over the top here. Basically recover all of that image at the top there. Awesome, look at all that extra image we've got. And then it's a case of flattening it down, re-cropping it. Just bring it in from the left and the right. Now I'm going to just leave that little gap at the top there. And then we're going to go in and use that polygonal lasso tool again to select this area. I love this lasso tool because it lets you create straight edge selections really, really well. It's really great for this sort of thing. Okay, press delete, Content Aware fill, and deselect. There we go. I think that's filled that in quite nicely. There's a little bit of an anomaly just here. I'm just going to switch to the clone stamp tool to tidy that up manually. It's done a pretty good job though. Now look at all this extra image I have to play with. Fantastic. When we look at the original and then this one here, perfect, just what we needed. So I'm going to save this image file. I'm going to close that source file. We don't need that one. And then I'm going to drag this one into my album cover template. So I just need to make this as big as the album cover. Press enter. Nice. So that was the previous image, didn't quite reach to the top and bottom. Now this new one still needs to be cropped a little bit, but we've got extra image at the bottom and extra image at the top, and lots of room for this text to go here. So I might even have a bit of a fiddle around with that and maybe darken in behind the text a little bit more. I think I might even darken along the bottom. Just to kind of have this act as a bit more of a frame along the bottom. I'm just going to darken in behind this text a little bit. It's to make that stand out nicely. Darkening down there. And there we go. That's the album cover. So in Photoshop, there's always a million different ways to do things. There's lots of different techniques you can use to kind of achieve the same aims, I suppose. But it's really down to what you feel is the quickest and the easiest for you and what suits the situation. So in this case, content-aware crop didn't work very well. So we needed to go back, use some other source images and actually reconstruct the bottom and the top of this image to create some extra space. If you've got any questions, just post them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you and hope this has been helpful for you. You've been listening to Charlotte Reeves from Learn Pet Photography.